Hello, good morning. I created a PowerPoint specifically for the Majesty Energy Group on how to build business credit for your EIN that is not linked to your social security number. Now, I am not a business credit guru. I can only give you the tips and tools that I use to build my business credit. And I received the information just from research myself. So here we go, how to build your business credit for your EIN that is not linked to your social. So let's start off with what is business credit. Business credit is credit obtained in a business name. With business credit, the business builds its own credit profile and credit score. With an established credit profile and score, the business will then be able to qualify for credit. The credit is based on the business's ability to pay and not the business owners. So the credit will be specifically linked to the business and not the business owner. Okay, and since the business qualifies for credit, in some cases there is no personal guarantee required from the business owner. Now, with the accounts that I have under my business, the credit accounts that I have under my business, I've never had to use a personal guarantee. There are some business accounts that will require you to use a personal guarantee, and personal guarantee is simply your personal social security number. But you must know that you have to work actively. You have to work actively to build your business credit. It won't happen overnight, and there is a few steps that need to be taken in order to build it. So let's talk about the business foundation. Excuse me, my mom decided to go in the kitchen as soon as I started recording. But let's talk about the business foundation of the business. So if you truly want to separate business credit from personal credit, your business must be a separate legal entity and not a sole proprietor or partnership. What does that mean, Cara? That means that your business credit will be separate from your personal credit. But your business must stand alone by itself as a legal entity. What is a legal entity? A legal entity is registering your business as a corporation or an LLC, and not just a sole proprietor or a partnership. Sole proprietors, a lot of people file or claim as a sole proprietor. But if you are wanting to actually have a business foundation, you would need to claim your business as a corporation or an LLC. When I first started, I was an LLC, and then my accountant changed it over to a corporation, and it's a simple, I believe it's just a simple IRS document that you have to submit. Yeah, it is. Because she had me sign it. So it's a simple IRS document that you have to submit. Now you have to do your own research on whether you want to file as an LLC or a corporation. I know the biggest thing for me was the amount of taxes that I'll be charged, which make me, and then the ability also to pay yourself through your business. So that was the main reason, one of the main, few of the main reasons why I switched over to a corporation from an LLC. But you must be a separate legal entity, okay? And unless you have a separate business entity, corporation, or LLC, you might be doing business, but you're not truly a business. You need to be a corporation or an LLC, like I stated, to separate personal from business. And then I have some things listed here on what you would need to obtain um, for the foundation. I'm sorry, things you'll need to obtain for the foundation of your business. The first thing, and there were some things I left off of here, I should have added on here, but the first thing is your EIN. Now, your EIN is the employee identification number or it's also known as the federal tax ID number. And it's basically the social security for your business. Plain and simple. You go to the IRS website, it's completely free to apply and receive your EIN. They let you print it out, your document, your your IRS document, as soon as you're done applying for it. Super easy. The next thing that you need is your business address. Your business address must be a real brick and mortar building, a deliverable physical address. Excuse me, it cannot be a PO box or UPS address because lenders tend to frown upon the use of, well, so I've heard two different instances. I've heard where they frown upon home addresses, and then I've heard where people use it. Me personally, I use my home address. I do not use a virtual business address, and you can always Google virtual business addresses and purchase you a virtual business address. But I use my residential address. I haven't ever had a problem, but I hear people say, use a virtual address, and so I've also heard though that I saw someone post the other day that they've been using a virtual address, and when they went to try to get a big, like an American Express business credit card, they were unable to because there were several businesses named under that virtual address. So you run into the problem of that. So, I say use whatever you can. A virtual business address does cost. Um, when I started and I was trying to build business credit, I was not willing to pay for a virtual address, so I just used mine, and haven't had any problems since. The next thing that you need is a business phone number. Now you could get a free 1-800 number from Google. Um, I've heard that those work. Me personally, I have a line on a business line with with my T-Mobile, so that's what I use. However, you can get a free 1-800 number from Google and other services, and there are some services that charge you because you get more features with it. But whatever you want to do. If you are want to minimize the upfront cost, get a line on your phone bill and have that dedicated specifically for your business. For your business. And then once you get your business phone number, you need to register it with 411 directory assistance. I made a post about this in the group the other day, so just go to the top right corner of the magnifying glass, click click it, and then type in 411, and that post should come up. But once you get your business phone number, you need to register it with 411 directory assistance. Okay. So the next thing that I have here is the business email address. Now your business email address, and I should have added domain onto this with this one as well, because you would need to have a domain. Now when you're applying for credit, every business credit application that I filled out, they've asked for my website. They go onto your website, they go and check for legitimacy. They check to see if you are an actual business before they want to loan you anything or before they give you any line of credit. So when you get your domain, I got mine through Google. I got my domain through Google, and I simply just got my email addresses through them as well. And I think it's about 38 bucks per month. However, if you do not have the funds for that, don't stress yourself. Go and get a Gmail or a Yahoo, until you can make some revenue to cover those expenses. The next thing that you want to make sure that you do is register to obtain your business licensing. So any license that your specific industry requires, make sure that you have those, okay, so that you can make sure that you are operating legally. Now, if you're like a last check and you need some type of sanitary license, whatever, make sure that you are registered legally within your state, county, and your in the city government offices. I'm required to have bonds, so that's what I have for my industry, and those are things that I have to renew every year. I have to renew my bonds, every year to make sure that I am compliant. And then for the last thing, make sure that your business is registered again with either the state, the county, or the city government offices, your chamber of commerce. Make sure that your business is registered. Now, now those are the foundational things for your business. So let's talk about some of the things that you need to start to build your business credit. The first thing that you would need, also I left something out over here on things to obtain with your business foundation. Some people get a DBA. When you get a DBA, know that you are considered a sole proprietor. So when it comes to building business credit, you're going to need more than a DBA. So that's really why I didn't list it here, but you can get a DBA. That's part of registering your business with your city government offices. So it does not hurt. Now let's move on to registering your business for credit. The first thing that you would need to do is get a DUNS number. You go to the DMB website to get your free DUNS number. Google DUNS number and they'll pop up. And you go on there to register to get a DUNS number. Now, the DUNS number is specifically to generate a Paydex score. A Paydex score is your business credit, your business credit scores. So I have a chart up here, and your business credit scores go from 0 to 100. It's ranked very differently from your personal credit. And then it's also much harder if you mess up your business credit. It's much harder to fix than your regular credit. So as you can see, 0 to 49, this is the Paydex score that your DUNS number helps to generate. 0 to 49 is high risk, 50 to 79 is medium risk, and 80 through 100 is low risk. Okay, so of course 100 is the best that you can have. 0 is the worst that you can have. The last time I checked, I was at 82. So I'll be looking it up, but I find my Paydex score on NAV. So you can download, I believe they have an app that you can download for NAV, and it gives you your business and your personal credit scores. It also alerts you anytime anything happens on your business and personal scores. You could also sign up for Business Experian and Business Equifax. Those monitor your business credit scores as well. All right, so let's move on to the vendor credit. What is vendor credit? So you must start a business credit profile and score with starter vendors. Starter vendors are the vendors who will give you credit, give you an initial credit, even if you have no credit, no score, or no trade lines right now. A vendor line of credit is when a company or vendor extends a line of credit to your business on a net 15, 30, 60, or 90-day terms. This means that you can buy their products or services for a set dollar amount and you have 15, 30, 60, or 90 days to pay the bill back in full. So let's just say that you go to a vendor and they set you up on a net 30 terms and you were to buy about $500 worth of goods today. That would essentially mean that with a starter vendor, that would mean that you have until 30 days to make that payment of $300. And likewise with 15 days, 16 days, and 90 days. So if you're on a 90-day net 90 terms, I'm sorry, if you're on a net 90 term, then you would have 90 days to pay that invoice in full. Okay. When you apply for these vendors, you always use your EIN and never your social security number. They're not going to say, it's not going to say what's your social, you put your EIN. No, they're going to ask, what is your EIN? And you give them your EIN number, which is that federal tax ID number that I gave you, that I showed you that the IRS will give you for free. All right, so let's start with the one of the first starter vendors, Uline. You can find Uline at uline.com. They sell shipping, packing, and industrial supplies. They also report to Duns and Bradford and Experian. Okay, but you must have a DUNS number and an EIN. And your first few orders might need to be prepaid so your company can get approved for the net 30 terms. I've seen it either way. I've seen where someone I set up with Uline and they had to make a purchase before they and make a purchase and then pay for it before they were approved for the net 30. And then like with myself, I didn't have to make a purchase. They initially just gave me the net 30 terms. Okay. For Uline, you will need the following to qualify. Your entity needs to be in good standing with the Secretary of State. That is where you get your LLC. So not basically not owing the Secretary of State any money. You would need to have an EIN number with the IRS. You would need to have a business address which is matching everywhere on every platform your business address is on. It's the same. You would need to have a DUNS number. You also need to have business license if it's applicable to your business. You must have a business bank account and a business phone number listed with 411. And also with Uline, your business needs to be at least 90 days old. Alrighty. And this must have other approved vendors with a credit limit of 800 or higher. That's that's a give a go because Uline was the first vendor that I had. I didn't have any other vendors on my business credit, so I don't think that that really too much applies anymore. So you should be good with Uline being your first. And Uline, when I what I did with Uline, let me tell you the first things I purchased. I purchased. Um, Toilet paper, paper towels. I purchased two file cabinets. So I just purchased things that I needed and was going to pay for anyway. Yes, they were a little higher. However, they were, for a bigger purpose. They were building my business credit. So I went ahead and made a few orders with them. I've made quite a bit of orders with Uline. So, yeah, and I've also purchased some items. I'm getting trying to start into candles, and so I purchased some of my items using my Uline credit. The next starter vendor is Granger Industrial Supply. Okay, you can find them online at www.granger.com. They sell hardware, power tools, pumps, and more. They also do fleet maintenance, and they report to just Duns and Bradford. To qualify for a Granger account, you need a business license if it is applicable to your business. Again, you need an EIN number. Again, you need a business address. You see how these some of these things are redundant because these are important. And so you need to make sure that you're setting these things up first. Your EIN number, your business address, your business bank account, and a DUNS number from Duns and Bradstreet. I don't know why I always call it Duns and Bradford, but it's Dun and Bradstreet. So you need to make sure that you have those things before you start applying and give yourself at least 3 to 4 weeks to let your information sink into the system so that way when those starter vendors go and run your information that they're able to pull you up. So the second starter vendor is Granger. I believe they start off at 5 or 1,000. I have a Granger account. I think I started off at $1,000 limit. So yeah, and they do again. They sell a lot of office equipment. They sell a lot of sanitary, as far as like paper towels, toilet papers, mops, things of that nature. So you could go on their website and find a lot of things. All right, so let's go on to the next credit line, and that is your retail credit. Okay, after three trade lines are established, and that means that after you've made three different purchases with either Granger, Uline that I've listed before, or another, there are tons of companies that offer net terms. So you could go to Google and type in companies that offer business net terms. There are tons of companies that offer it. But after you get three trade lines established under vendor credit, getting retail credit card accounts is the next step. Retail credit accounts tend to have a revolving terms, your personal credit card, and so therefore you can be able to use these cards and not be required to pay the full balance owed each month. which is really cool. So you must get retail credit before starting to get like your Visa or MasterCard type of credits. And so some retail credit stores or companies or stores like Office Depot or Staples, they offer business credit. And a lot of these retailers will approve you for a new credit once you have a credit profile established and have good business credit score that results from you paying your bills as agreed. And so once you have three trade lines, go ahead and move on to the Office Depot and Staples account. All right, now let's move on to the fleet credit. Um, so the fleet credit. So with more accounts reporting, you can move on to the fleet credit. These are companies like BP, Circle K, which is the one that I have in Conoco. These are the kind that you use. These are kind of credits that are used to buy fuel or repair and maintain your vehicles. It's cool, right? So with Circle K, I was initially approved for $1,000, which I use for gas at any Circle K and other gas stations. You can use them at too. They send you a list of companies that you'll be able to use them, but definitely at all the Circle Ks. And so then you can also use them for repair and to maintain your vehicles. Okay. Now let's move on to the step six, which is the universal cash credit. With even more accounts that will be listed on your credit report. Now you can move on to the Visa or MasterCard type credit. That's what we all aim for, right? Those approval amounts that'll be high or no limit. Okay, so it's best to have 10 accounts with at least one of them having like a $10,000 high limit. So once you do your fleet credit, I'll go back and ask some of those earlier vendors, hey, can I get a credit limit increase? Because you want to keep using the credit to keep applying for more. So, and this takes to get a higher limit. It normally, like I list here, normally takes between 6 and 12 months. Like I said, this is not an overnight process. This is a step-by-step process that you need to follow and that you have to follow. Again, I am not a business credit guru. If you are a business credit guru in this group, when I post this, give us some more tips on how we can obtain these higher credit limit or these no credit limit business credit cards. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I only can give you information that I've used for myself and it has been successful, and other bits of information that I've learned while researching. But the universal cash credit, all those business visas, those business MasterCards, those business American Express that have $50,000 limits, $100,000 limits, no limit, or flexible spending, you can get to this if you work towards it and if you follow the steps that you need to follow. Okay. So that's all. I just want to also reiterate again that I'm not a business credit guru, and these are the basics to building your business credit, and these are the same tools that I have used. And again, if you're an expert in any way as it relates to business credit, please weigh in the comment section. And all information is listed for educational purposes only. And then I want you to go, once you get the educational information, I want you to go do your own research. And then after you do your research, you implement that in your business. And if you need more in-depth information, again, do the research that you need to.